What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel where we shoot the shit, paint and sip, share stories and creator tips. So this has been long overdue, and I had some inspiration from one of my live stream sessions where, and I quote, "Need to just pull the band-aid off." And so I'm finally getting the courage and doing it. So I thought a good way to start this whole series was to kind of explain my art piece, or actually, truth be told, it is a collaboration. A collaboration with a very dear friend of mine that I met through a mutual friend. And as I'm now learning, the universe and or spirits or God, however you want to define that, has a plan for you, and you just need to be ready to listen to that plan and see it. So this collaboration here on this 4x4 painting all began with a poem, and I'm going to share that poem with you right now. Crossing cultures, crossing climates, going from the tropic oasis to the harness of the desert, in search of healing. A button the size of your fingernail reaches deep within its roots to unravel generational trauma. And I took that poem and brought it to life, so to speak. The video series is going to go into detail what the painting is about, what symbols I have in the painting for that poem to come to life, and then it will talk in depth, as much as I'm comfortable doing, as to how I got here. How I got to want to do this painting, what happened to me in my childhood, that generational trauma that the poem talks about, which led me to seek healing eventually. The catalyst for me understanding that I cannot keep going down the path that I was going, living the lifestyle that I was living, and finally asking myself, what is my purpose? And how do I get there? But with all that said, I want to kind of get into a little bit about the painting itself, and then a little bit about me. All right. For those of you that may have been in one or two of my live streams, the squeaky chair is making a guest appearance, so I apologize for the weird noises in the back. But anyway, here is the drawing / painting that I'm collaborating on with a close friend of mine. I wanted to show it to you guys as it is right now, so you have a better idea of how far along I am. And I'll be posting some, or inputting in the video, some of the earlier stages, of course, some time lapses so you can see. But to get into the entire drawing and kind of explain in brief detail what led me to put into the drawing what you see right now. All right, so on both corners there, you see two figures. The one on the right is my close friend, dear friend, Darren, and then I am there on the left hand side. And We both come from tropical climates, as the poem says. He's Colombian, Puerto Rican, obviously from the Philippines, myself. And what you will see eventually is us brushing away the jungle, peeping through the jungle. We see a path, and on that path is what leads us to find our healing, or at least puts us on the path to healing. In the middle there, you'll see some other vegetation that is symbolic of a ceremony we both experienced together earlier this year in the Mojave Desert that kind of started my spiritual journey. In the midground, you will see eventually that the jungle switches into a desert, which, like I said, is the Mojave Desert, and then combining with cultures of mine, the Native American culture that we got to experience just for a little bit while we were there in the Mojave. And then towards the top, you'll see wolves, which I believe are my spirit animal, but that hasn't been confirmed yet. In the middle, you'll see Connor Parker, who brought this ceremony to the United States, and other smaller symbols, yet still very relevant and important throughout the painting, that I'll go into more detail when the time comes. So I wanted to get into a little bit of the reason why I sought out a spiritual journey, sought out this ceremony, what happened to me as a kid that led me down this path. And I'm not saying that it was a completely terrible path by any means. You know, I was still able to be a functioning member of society, accomplishing things left and right. But what I learned this year is that I was doing those things in order to distract me from doing the hardest work of all, which is to look within. To look within and face the shit that you may be running from, because it fucking hurts. It fucking hurts, and it's hard, and it makes me uncomfortable, and I'm battling either groomed thoughts, unconscious biases towards being vulnerable, or I don't want to say it's weak. See, I'm still struggling with that, but just showing that side of me, I guess, is very hard for me still. So I am going through therapy with a couple of doctors. Well, actually a doctor and a therapist, and then seeking other holistic methods such as like yoga, breath work, maybe up some other ceremonies in my future. We'll see. See what COVID has to say about that. But anywho, I had shared something on my TikTok and then Instagram, and lastly my own personal Facebook. I don't have a public Facebook page, but where I made these videos talking about finally sharing with the public that I had been sexually abused since the age of 4. From the age of 4 to about 15, 16, by my brother-in-law. And that I had kept a secret for a very long time from those outside my closest circle, because I just wasn't ready to deal with the trauma. I was not ready to face it. I was not ready to talk about it. And what I did learn after sharing it on my social platforms is that I am not ready to hold the torch for all the other survivors just yet. It was amazing how many people either commented or sent me a personal message, supporting me, you know? Not only supporting me, but sharing their story. And what shocked me even more was that some of them, I almost want to say close to half, had not shared that story with anyone else, or so they say. And I'm not taking that away from anybody, but to feel comfortable enough to share something so intimate with a complete stranger, I'm so grateful, I guess, or I have nothing but gratitude for that, because I don't know what I did or said that would make you feel that way towards me. So just having that experience all around is motivation for me to continue working on myself, continue trying to be more comfortable with my vulnerability, to continue to go to therapy, because it's important. It is so important for me to, or for all of us who may have experienced trauma, to face it and heal from it and move on. And don't let your abuser have any sort of control over you. So lastly, I want to kind of talk about this video series moving forward, and just let you guys know, as I am talking through my trauma, as I am talking through what it was like for me to finally meet with a therapist for the first time in my life and speak about my childhood trauma and maybe things that happened to me while I was serving in Afghanistan, and other things that may have, added to the ladder of traumas that eventually led me to where I am right now. If you have experienced something similar, if you are needing help, feel free to comment, share, send a message or whatnot, because I want to use my platforms to have somewhere a safe space where other survivors can talk about their own experiences, share their story, have a voice. And that is the ultimate goal. I had mentioned I talked about purpose, or trying to find that purpose, which I had never done before. I kind of just floated, and whatever I floated into, I somehow did well at, or whatever the fuck. I'm kind of tired of floating, I want to be driving the boat now. And I have a good feeling that this art therapy for myself, healing for my trauma, sharing with you guys, has a lot to do with it. And hopefully I can help others use art, share their story to heal from their own. So if you like this video, if you are looking forward to the next one in this video series, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share. And as always, I hope you enjoyed your time with me. I always enjoy sharing with you guys. Love you all.